Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have about 7 topics for this video, starting with Donald Trump may be dismissing about 15,000 transgenders from the US Army. That's one. The other one, basically we're going to talk about his policies, the new appointees, what they can do regarding Ukraine, what they say they will do, and how the US senators supposedly will brace themselves for the confirmation of Trump's administration's picks selection. Now, did you know that the Nord Stream 2, Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines, yes, the ones that were blown up by we don't know who, might be bought by American business? So the Americans might buy something blew up. What do you think will happen? This is a piece of news here that I was like, my jaw dropped. So they're going to take over the European infrastructure now too. I mean, they took over the military, which is the defense, right? They took over the politicians, the culture, their traditions, their mass media. What else do they need to take over? The infrastructure. That is, you're going to depend on us fully. Well, the senators are bracing for the confirmation hearings. That should go smoothly, as the Democrats' hearings should go smoothly. I will explain. Now we have this defense secretary pick, Pete Hegseth. I think that's the way you pronounce this name. Threatens educational insurgency. I don't think he's going to do anything about it. We find out that Trump may appoint a billionaire, a businessman, as the Pentagon Deputy Chief. Guess where he has his allegiance? Yes, I'm just making sure that my hairdo stays over there, right? Then we have how the Americans in the new administration view the situation in Ukraine, and that is very condescending. First, the United States of America is either speaking with Russia or gets the fuck out. No, they play like they're the moderators now. It's ridiculous, like they're the ones that are gonna bring the children, the quarreling children together so they could, solve things out, because they're baboons and we are in charge. Remember, the person who organizes and brings people together is the organizer. The other ones are the participants. That means you are somewhere a little bit above all these guys. We're going to discuss that one. The Ukrainians could not mobilize more people, or at least have a problem with that. Only 2/3 of the mobilization plan was fulfilled by the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians don't want to fight for the Zelensky Steins, the foreign interests, and maybe the Russians. And maybe they're just sick of all this garbage. And we find out that Russia will do something I said many times before, which is start deploying its missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, outside of Russian territory maybe, or in areas where, like Asia in this case. I'm waiting for them to go to South America or Central America or the Caribbean. When the Russians will do that, these guys will just say, well, that's your right. That's your right, as it was our right to expand NATO. Remember, that was the beat it justification coming from our leaders to the Russians when they say, hey, you advanced, you enlarged NATO towards our territory, to our borders. NATO said, so, is that illegal? Sue me. Nothing illegal. So when the Russians will deploy that in Cuba, Venezuela, or Nicaragua, then you're going to hear these guys saying the same thing. Well, it's your right to do that. Do you think that's exactly how they would say? No, because these are not just people or unjust people. All right, let's start with Donald J. Trump. According to Sputnik, Trump may dismiss 15,000 transgenders from U.S. military under new law. First things first. Will Trump be sworn in the office? Will he be alive by then? Secondly, are they going to write his executive orders in such a way that would really be a law? Will that law be challenged in courts? Will they lose? But the problem is, by the time it's challenged in courts, the law takes effect for about, 5 years. Remember the mandates? All right, good. So there's many things that could change. Maybe when he gets elected, when he gets sworn in, he's going to forget about it. Why? The guys with dark suits and ties and glasses with how do you call it, sunglasses will show up in the Oval Office and say, Trump, that's the way it is. Remember what you signed? And he's going to say, yes, I'm the best. All right, let's see what details these guys give us. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump plans to issue a decree that will lead to the dismissal of all transgender, you see this asterisk over there? I'm going to show you what that is, down at the bottom. Soldiers, about 15,000 people may leave the service. So about 15,000 people are with that problem? A newspaper reported citing military sources. The decree may be issued on the very first day, maybe, of Trump's return to the White House, the publication says. Transgender person will be demobilized for health. What do you think the health reasons could be? Do you hear me? Do you see me? Okay. Do you see me very well? All right. Which will mean they are unfit for service, the newspaper noted. The publication emphasized, citing an unmanned source familiar with Trump plans, that the U.S. Army was currently experiencing problems with recruiting new servicemen. Well, why don't you recruit some midgets then? Lower the standard to floor, to ground level. Only the Marine Corps is hitting its number for recruitment. Okay. According to the newspaper, Trump's news order will also not allow transgender people to enlist in the military. The asterisk is LGBT is an extremist movement banned in Russia, according to Sputnik. So, he will do it. I give him 20%. I will give him 20% that he will get in the office. He will have that executive order already written for him the first day or the next day or never day, and he's going to sign it the way it says here. Maybe I give him 5%. There's too many things, man. There's too many things. All right, next one. Let's see how the Americans are going to build Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines, the one that were sabotaged by those 6+1 Ukrainians or Poles or whatever they were. Remember, with that dear yacht, the sex yacht? Exactly. That's what it was, the love yacht. 6 women and 1 lady of the night. Jesus Christ, it's so baboonish. Let's move. Sputnik. I'm moving. U.S. unlikely to let American investor buy Nord Stream 2 pipeline. U.S. itself destroyed, the Economist claims. So it's a company, American company, that supposedly wants to buy it. But the Russians also have a say in that, don't they? So this is the route between Sweden over here. This is where the attack occurred, in this area, right here. Exactly there. How convenient. Nord Stream 1 and 2 natural gas pipelines network was rocked by explosions in September 2022. We don't even know who that did it. Man. Just months after President Joe Biden threatened to bring an end, and quote, to the energy project in the event of an escalation in Ukraine. I think it was invasion. Now, a U.S. investor reportedly wants to buy Nord Stream 2. Sputnik asked a renowned economist what this means. If the Ukraine crisis were to end, there will, and I'm quoting, likely be huge pressure to get the pipelines repaired, and quote, from a Europe starved of energy, and I'm quoting, any new owner would become immensely rich. The economist stressed government widely suspected of playing an instrumental role in the energy infrastructure sabotage. Now you see right here, is missing something. Would be unlikely to allow it, veteran British economist Dr. Rodney Shakespeare told Sputnik, and I'm quoting, America, I'm quoting this gentleman. I'm not saying that's true. YouTube, sorry, my freedom of speech doesn't apply here. I know that one. America, why you're not? The U.S. Constitution doesn't apply to you. It seems like. Therefore, you can infringe other amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Not only the first one. Why stop there? And I'm quoting, America destroyed the pipelines because secret American policy is to keep Germany and Europe dependent on expensive American gas supplies. Thank you very much. That's a conclusion I reached a long time ago, and I'm not an economist. So the businessman is unlikely to get permission. What do you mean? I thought we have in America, it's capitalism, free market, everywhere, unless we control it. Then everything. Bitcoin, yes, unless we control it. If we can't control it, we're going to make sure it doesn't even exist. You'll see that. You'll see that happening soon. Shakespeare, a visiting scholar at Indonesia's Trisakti University and co-founder of the global justice movement, explained, if the Ukrainian crisis were to end, there would likely be huge pressure to get the pipelines repaired. Okay, we got that one. Here, my guess is that the businessman will not get permission and that the risk of deliberate destruction in future is such that the pipelines or the pipes will not get repaired. So someone has more power than, Lynch reportedly applied for a license, with the US Treasury that would allow him to negotiate initiating repair work on the damaged $11 billion Nord Stream 2 pipeline with entities under US sanctions, and reportedly lobbied officials to allow him to invest to the damaged pipeline network to secure, and I'm quoting, American and European control over European energy supply for the rest of the fossil fuel era. Let's ignore this and say American control over European. Now they tell you Nord Stream 2 AG is owned by a subsidiary of Russia's Gazprom, with a consortium of 5 European energy companies financing to the project. A Swiss court has repeatedly extended the moratorium of Nord Stream 2 AG's bankruptcy, most recently until January 2025. It's unclear whether Russia would ever allow foreign investors participating from unfriendly countries to gain a stake in the project. I tell you what's going to happen. Do I have any white stuff here? So, and then I'm going to tell you what happened. Do you remember when these guys froze the Russians' assets? What did the Russians do? They froze the other guy's assets. So if these guys sell it without the Russians, what are the Russians going to send troops and destroy it? These guys don't follow the law anymore. They act like, in a Wild West. Just take it. I got the big guns. I take it. It's always been like this. The problem is, this shows more now than before. Before they were a little bit more sophisticated. So the baboons don't wake up from their flea-eating frenzy. That's how it was. Now, they don't even care. Why? The baboons' level dropped so low, they don't even care. They will not be, can be fire around their buildings. They will be still in the frenzy of eating each other's fleas. All right, let's go further. And now is a problem with this one. CNN, senators bracing for confirmation battles over unorthodox Trump cabinet picks. All right, I will translate this. All right, senators are bracing for confirmation battles. That is, first, the senators are going to be the confirmation hearings will be owned by the Republicans. So all of this unorthodox church, yes, Trump cabinets should go smoothly, but they won't. Why? Because Trump is not maybe in the marsh yet, part of the marsh, which I think he is going there because he was allowed to win. Okay, he was selected, he signed the paper, he put that on, went to the Wailing Wall, and everything is kosher. So what's going on here? The unorthodox. I think this is just a game. We'll find out the first day when Trump gets in the office. If he doesn't sign about 15 executive orders right there on the spot, then he is part of the marsh. And all these guys are just nice looking guys with a thing on their head. So there should be no battle whatsoever. When the Democrats had the Senate and all that, it was no battle, nothing. No battle. Why? Everything passed just like this. You had, I don't know, people like Senator, what's his name? Kennedy. I think he's a senator, isn't he? And others, or House. I think he's a senator. Didn't he was just barking over there and talking, or other senators, like, no, it was a senator because it was over there next to him. It was a senator from Texas, Cruz. So he was Cruz and Jackson, Jesus Christ, Kennedy. They were talking over there and it was nothing. These guys were just, okay, yeah, vote. Pak. We outvoted you in a democratic system. So if we reverse the roles right now, this should not be a battle first. The other ones, those guys are not unorthodox guys. They are just, people that don't belong to the marsh. If they don't, but they do. Some of them. All right, and the ones that do not belong to the marsh is Robert F. Kennedy. I don't think Ramaswamy, and I don't think Tulsi Gabbard. These three for sure, 98%. All right, let's move to the next article and topic. Trump Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth threatens educational insurgency in schools. Well, that could be done with an executive order, I'm guessing, or with the majority. With the majority, right? So let's see what these guys are saying in this article. So Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense has called for an educational insurgency to take over American schools in an appearance on a right-wing podcast. During the cross-politics discussion, he says this, that he said, explain his idea for a system of classical Christian schools. I disagree with that. To provide, I would say, how about classical Greek-Roman schools, not Christian, to provide recruits for an underground army that could eventually launch an educational insurgency. This host said, I think we need to be thinking in terms of these classical Christian schools are boot camps for winning back America. No, go to ancient Roman, Greco-Roman school. How about that? That's what the crop of this classical Christian schools, like classical, you mean the I don't know, medieval times, the Dark Ages time? When you say classical, what do you mean classical? I'm not a retard on that one, but when you say classical, to me, we talk about yeshiva schools, or we talk about the other guys, the Muslims with their schools. Is that what you mean? Of course not. That's not what it is. Well, maybe some people don't give a fuck about that. Did you think about that, Mr. Hagboy? Oh, there you go. How about some people are, I don't know, Muslim, some people are Jewish, some people are, I don't know, Hindu, some people are Shinto, some people are Buddhists, some people are nothing? Well, it seems to me that yeah, I agree to that to an extent. Let's put it this way. Next. But it's not about me. But hey, since I'm a US citizen, I have a say, supposedly. All right, and he says his policy answers like school choice, well, they're great. That's phase 2 stuff later on once the football has been taken. Foothold. Jesus, right. Once the recruits have graduate boot camp. We call it a tactical retreat. Okay, you like that? That is like... what's his name, the British Winston Churchill, remember when they were being pounded, and what's going on here with this one? When we don't like this. All right, change it. Do you remember the Dunkirk debacle when Hitler stopped for about, 48 hours, I think, the pounding of these guys so they could transfer themselves, some people say. Churchill instructed his expeditionary corps they were a corps at that time, to advance to the coast, not retreat to the coast. So when these guys said that we're going to be a tactical retreat, no, that's advancing to the coast, like off. No, anyway, let's move on. I don't like the way these guys, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't like public schools, because in public schools you have the government's control over our children's minds, and they always have an interest and an agenda. Let's go to see who Trump might appoint as Pentagon Deputy Chief. Sputnik. Trump may appoint businessman as a Pentagon Deputy Chief, and we have 2 names here. And I think this guy is going to be the one who's going to be chosen. And he's going to be really, really chosen by he's going to be all go through the hearings right there. So what do we have? Who won the US presidential election? Trump. May appoint entrepreneur Trey Stephens or billionaire investor Stefan Feinberg as the Deputy Secretary of Defense, US media reported citing sources. So we have these guys. Let's see who this Stefan Feinberg is, or Steve. Well, right here, family and life and education. Feinberg was born in a Jewish family. He's not a Jew, he's just a Jewish family, and raised in the Bronx. All right, good for you. You are just a billionaire. That's fine. You're gonna make some investments, and you're gonna make sure that military-industrial complex will take what it needs. That's what's gonna be. I think this guy is just a intermediary between the government and the arms manufacturing company. The same shit that occurs right now. Do you know who the guy is over there? But hey, you need these guys over there. Why? Otherwise, you don't get selected to be the US president and be elected by the population. All right, let's look at how the Americans still think they are in charge of this planet. But I guess that train or that ship sailed away. Sputnik, new Trump administration to focus on Ukraine conflict resolution, incoming security advisor. Okay. Let's see. The president-elect has been very concerned about the escalation and where it all gets, Waltz said in an interview with Fox News. So let's see how Mr. Mike Waltz sees the US's role in Ukraine. And I'm quoting, and so what we need to be discussing is who's at the table. Who's we? First, who's we? Who's we? We here discuss. So who's at the table? Who cares? Are you involved in Ukraine? God damn you are involved. So we know who's going to need to be involved at the table. Whether it's an agreement, it's not up to you. An armistice, not up to you. How to get both sides to the table, and then what's the framework of the deal? So that means we are the organizers. He thinks that's what we'll be working with this administration until January and then beyond, he highlighted. So this guy thinks that he's going to take the little boys, Russia and Ukraine, bring them together under the framework, and we're going to decide first, before we allow them to meet one another, if it's going to be an agreement, an armistice, and how we get them to the over there. So, because they're baboons like children, and we are the adults here, and we're just going to make sure that we tell, no, stop here. Don't pick your nose here. Oh, don't scratch your balls now. That's what the... boy, Waltz. Take it easy, Waltz. What you have is just you, your country, our country is involved in a war against Russia at the orders of Stefan Taparap, the other guy, remember? So, if you tell me that it's going to be Ukraine with Russia and you're going to have a role of a mediator, you're just a narcissist. You're just losing it. The Russians will tell you this, boy, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fulfill all our 4 goals for the military operation that we got in. We're halfway through, so we're not going to turn back. You are our enemy, which is us. Somehow we became the Russians' enemy. Why? Because our elected officials and the interest who our elected officials. And the Russian says, we don't need you. You're not going to tell us nothing or anything, to be more precise. You will not be involved in this whatsoever. You did not stop supplying these guys to Putin. So no, baby doll, you're not in it. You have nothing to say. It's between me and me. That's how the Russians should talk. It's between me and me. We are in this. You want to destroy us? Do you think you're going to be the organizer? Fuck off. You are the guy who actually pushes. Your NATO organization is next to my borders. And you want us to talk? No, we try to talk to you many times before the 24th of February 2024, including October, November, December, and January 2022, and all those 3 months, 2021. And what did you say? Beat it. Start it. Now we got dirty a little bit. Do you think I'm going to just stop now? No, I'm going to go and do everything until the end. So this is how these guys see that they're still in charge. They are the organizers. They're the moderators. We're in charge, baby. Come over here. We're going to make friends right now. Come on, say sorry. And now you say sorry. Now that's not a good start. All right, let's see how the Ukrainians fail, unfortunately, for them. Ukraine fulfilled mobilization plan only by 2/3. So 2/3, why? Well, why do you think that's so? First, the Ukrainians don't want to probably fight for a Zelensky-Stein and his Zelensky-Stein administration. Probably they don't want to fight for alien or foreign interests having their nation and country destroyed. Maybe they're sick of the war. Maybe they're afraid. Maybe they don't want to fight against their cousins, the Russians, and so on. This could be the reasons. But I think the first 2 are the main ones. They don't want to fight for outside interest. They know who's who, what's what. Using them to fight for them. Yeah, Zelensky's all, yeah, let's fight. Because he doesn't fight with his family. He doesn't fight with him. He's A-okay. He's going to be A-okay until he's going to take that plane from Kiev towards London, fleeing Ukraine. Then the Russians, I predict, they're going to destroy him while he's flying towards Ukraine, towards London, for his, whatever, I can't remember the word right now. He's going to just go over there. Yeah, like many others, like Abramovich and other, the same kind, leaving Russia because Putin said that we're going to queue up. So they fled. They will go to London in exile. It's going to be, again, a diaspora. There's been diaspora in about diasporas for the past 2,000 years anyway. But hey, don't say that again, right? So, my friends, that's what's going to happen with Zelensky. And these guys don't want to fight. I think for Zelensky, for outside interest, with their blood, if there would be Ukraine as, okay, we are nationalistic, we want to be Ukraine as we are and so on, without the external influences, yeah, I would support that 100%. But it's not like that. Ukraine will be someone's bitches. Or bitch. The Americans' interest or the Russians' influence being next door. And unfortunately, it's going to be a no nation anymore. It's going to be a no country. All right, let's go to the last article and topic. Sputnik. Russia may deploy medium short-range missiles in Asia if US missiles appear there. So this is a consequence. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov has not ruled out the deployment of medium and shorter range missiles in the Asia-Pacific region as a retaliatory measure against the United States. He says, of course, this is one of the options that has also been repeatedly mentioned. The appearance of such US system in any region of the world will determine our next steps, including in the field of organizing a military and military technical response. It's very interesting that they all respond to something. The Israelis respond to this attack. The Iranians respond to those attacks. The Americans always respond to everybody else picking on them, because the weak countries always pick on strong countries to get, The Russians react. Everybody reacts. It's like I would react on the street. Hey, why are you looking like that? You're challenging me. I have to react to that. I feel challenged. I feel threatened. Boom, boom, boom. Take your whatever you got. So here it is. I'm waiting for the Russians to be serious about it, and maybe going to have a balance. I don't want that, but I don't like these baboons being unchecked. No, I already know who these guys are. I don't need them. I know who they are. They are the bullies. They're definitely. Are the Russians the bullies? Yes, they are the bullies. But compared with these guys, this like world tournament here or Olympics, and the Russians are in a county level. So I want the Russians. I don't want the Russians, but what I suspect, as I said, they're going to go to Venezuela, Cuba, and I mentioned at the beginning, always have a problem remembering that one. So Cuba, Venezuela, and whatever the third one was. Can't remember. It's Nicaragua, and maybe others. And then you're going to have in South America as well. You're going to have in Africa a lot of them, and in Asia as well. I guarantee you that. And in Europe, it's enough in Kaliningrad to keep everybody under. But hey, the Americans will protect everybody, because that's what we do, man. We just bring freedom and democracy, like we brought to what I was about to say, Israel, Saddam Hussein. Right? Iraq, Afghanistan, and all that. We brought so much. In Libya, we brought that too. And what happened? Those are failed states. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.